I'm with Paul Scurrell, who is the heartbeat that makes Timecode Buddy work, Timecode Systems. See what I did there? And the last time I spoke to you about this, it was a moderately simple system that logged timecode and distributed timecode and looked at a few bits on the camera. But I think we've gone way, way beyond that now, haven't we?
Yeah, we have massively expanded on it. As you say, when we first started, it was about wireless timecode sync. That was a fail-safe system. If the wireless disappeared, the timecode carried on. Yeah, quite a sort of a standard timecode workflow. But yeah, that was obviously back in 2012, and obviously, yeah, things have moved on a fair bit. So yeah, in the last few months, especially since maybe we caught up at NAB, we've been streamlining the product range, so we've now got Pulse, Wave, TRX Plus and SyncBack for GoPro. So we've been streamlining the range but increasing the capabilities of those products. And then also with the applications that support those products, we've now moved to a cross-platform solution rather than just being tied in with iOS for Apple. So we've now got, you know, an Android solution, an iOS and Mac and PC solutions. So we've now got what's called a new Blink Hub, which is a control surface for everything.
Which one is that?
So we've got Blink Hub running at the moment. So at the moment we've got the Pulse here, which is effectively a mini base station. That's our flagship product. So that's effectively a mini base station for the whole set. It's got a Wi-Fi interface and an Ethernet interface, so you can connect to it with our applications. Now, if you're in a heavy RF traffic environment with Wi-Fi, like a trade show like this, where you can really struggling to get a lot of Wi-Fi stuff working, you can connect via Ethernet straight into your MacBook or your laptop or whatever, and control the whole system without having to rely on Wi-Fi. Because of course our own system is on sub-gigahertz, 865 for UK, Europe, 915 for the States. That's a long-range RF system, and that pretty much works the same wherever you are.
So you've got two radio systems in the same box. There's one is Wi-Fi and the other is the long-range RF.
That's it, and that's really been from us from the start. That was our sort of unique selling point right from the start, of having this simultaneous idea of having a commercial sort of grade Wi-Fi system to connect with applications and tablets and phones. But we knew that wouldn't be robust on set for what we really want to do, and that's two-way communication, timecode and sync. So yeah, we do a simultaneous system of our own system called Blink, which is our own RF system that gets everything around. So yeah, so effectively what we've got here, we're in like the camera area of our booth here at IBC, is we're using this particular Pulse as the mini base station for the whole set. And in camera world here, we have got that as the transmitting timecode for everything. We could feed that into an audio recorder with timecode and word clock on the physical connections. And then we're now transmitting on the long-range RF from that unit to all the slave receive devices that are around. So we could have a mini TRX on a Canon C300 with timecode and Genlock. We could have an Arri Alexa with timecode on there with metadata capabilities through the Pulse. And obviously excitingly launched for the States, we launched it in April, the SyncBack Pro, which is an embedded timecode solution for GoPro. So that's our latest addition, which obviously is this super miniature timecode transceiver, very accurate timecode transceiver, picking up the same Blink RF sync information, but because we're talking directly to the camera now through the Hero bus, we now embed that same frame accurate timecode information straight on the MP4 file for the memory card. So that memory card can be treated exactly the same as the memory card coming out of an Alexa or a C300 and brought straight into post, but we'll see that later.
So we're saying that's a GoPro that now runs timecode, and the files are time-coded so you can sync them up, which we can look at.
Absolutely, so it's not timecode on the audio track, this is fully embedded timecode on the media, on the MP4 media. And that's read by obviously Avid and Final Cut Pro and Premiere.
And then with the network stuff, I think you're going to show us that you can look at the status of all the devices on your screen or tablet or PC or whatever.
Absolutely. So what we obviously, right from the beginning, we've always done wireless timecode sync, and we realised sort of after a year or so that we were missing a trick, because we've got all this spare bandwidth that when we're not syncing things together, where we can actually have two-way communication between not only the timecode systems products themselves, but any product that is attached to it, any third-party product, whether it's a camera, whether it's a C300 or a GoPro or an Arri Alexa. So we've developed a system called Blink, so we've turned it into a two-way metadata and control status system, as well as wireless sync. So we've got the Blink Hub app running. We're connecting this MacBook onto the Pulse Ethernet port. We just launch our free app, which is the Mac app, and then that communicates with the Pulse, which is the master station. Because this Pulse is synchronizing all of these devices with Timecode and Genlock, they're also feeding their status back to the mini base station, which we can then view on one application. So it means that we can click on any of these. So I've got the master pulsar here.
Yep.
We've got 3 GoPros, which we've called Face, Chesty and Crowd, which are the GoPros, and we've got a Canon C300. We can see for instance, on the GoPros, it says device attached. So we know that it's not just a sync box that's on its own, it's actually attached to something. So we can click on that, it says GoPro Face, and then you can connect to any of these, and then you can then remote control the GoPro via the long-range RF. Now that's the key. It's not Wi-Fi that just works for 10, 20 meters in a place like this. It's long-range RF, 300, 400, 500 meters. But the beauty is, because we've all got them on the same screen, you can group things together. So we could start 50 GoPros at the same time. We could start the audio recorder, we could start a camera, and we can see the status of the battery of the camera, the memory card. So all these, and really in the future we just expand on those, how many parameters. We can effectively mimic any menu setting on the GoPro and put it into the application. So that's a whole system of control and status, and we can see the clip, we'll be able to get the clip name of the camera and all that sort of metadata stuff going on at the same time.
It's really cool. Bearing in mind that we come from the perspective of sound recording, we've done 5 minutes on this and we haven't even seen a sound recording machine
Should we
yet.
go over to
Shall
the
I
sound
race
area?
you over there?
Yeah.
Let's go. Okay, I'll let you win. So here we are in Soundland. This is where I get really turned on. I know that you're much more integrated with certainly sound devices now. Show me some of that.
We are. So with the Wavell Pulse, as when it's connected in Sound World, in the sound bag or the sound cart, we now can have that as the master clock on set, or we can have it as a slave unit. But basically, we now can connect the data port of that pulse or a wave into the USB port of the sound devices for full 6 series control, as well as obviously providing word clock and time code for the recorder itself, and obviously distributing the time code across the whole set. All merges and integrates with the stuff we've just seen in Camera World already. So launching the same Blink Hub app, which is the free cross-platform app, we can now see that we're connected to this particular pulse here. That's that unit there. It says there's a device attached because there's a sound device hanging off the end of the data port. We can now look at all the information of the recorder itself, the CF card, the SD card, the battery. We can, if I just expand that actually, we can go onto the take control, so you can see exactly, you can name all your takes, and you can go on to all your track control, arm, disarm tracks, name tracks. So you've got full remote control of the 6 series, whilst being able to keep an eye on everything else on set using the Blink Hub app. Now that's the key. So you've got the control and the status, but you're not just concentrating on the sound devices recorder. You're looking at everything. You're looking at your mini TRXs that might be on all your cameras. You're seeing whether they've got enough battery, whether they're on the right sync output, whether you can name them, so you can make sure that you keep track of them all. So it's a good way of keeping everything together in the same way that integrates with our collaboration with Deniky with the TS-TCB slate. So again, that appears on the Blink Hub app. So for instance, we've got the hardware slate here. It's picking up the RF timecode over the long-range RF on the first screen. Second screen, we have control over that, again over the long-range RF now. So we can click on Clapper. You can obviously name that to whatever. You might have 3 Clapper slates on set, and you want to name them for ABC crews or whatever. And then we can then write text to that screen. Let's be IPS TV.
I love that.
That's it. And then that appears on the screen. So very soon we'll be able to automate the information that goes onto the slate. So we could actually automatically follow the scene and take information from the sound device's mixer.
Got you.
Not just onto one slate. If we had 3 slates on set, we could do a global command, send them to everything. So the slate will automatically be in sync, metadata-wise, with what's going on the recorder.
So as ever, it's an ongoing development.
Ongoing development. But
Fantastic.
the main thing is all the infrastructure is in there with the communications, and we just need to add the commands as we go, as we build it up.
And then there's a bit of tablet action up the end.
Yeah, so obviously within our own BlinkHub app, that's free, and it's a cross-platform app. If you're in, you want more about metadata logging, Movie Slate obviously is a very, very comprehensive application for metadata logging on set, and it's used extensively already with sound mixers for creating elegant sound reports. So there's also an integration here with 6 Series, Wave and Pulse, and Movie Slate. So now, exactly the same setup, you will connect the Wave Pulse to the data port, to the USB port of the 6 Series. If you launch Movie Slate, you have a really nice, elegant UI, graphical interface, where we can disarm tracks. It all integrates within Movie Slate, so all the metadata logging is now seamlessly synced with the recorder itself. We can circle takes. We can end the shot. We've got all the details of the CF card, and all that metadata is obviously going into the Movie Slate logging notes. We can operate from the recorder, and that will then push all the information into Movie Slate. We can choose to sync data from the recorder into Movie Slate, or from Movie Slate into the recorder. So if you turn up on a shoot and you've got a config loaded in Movie Slate, you can just go push to recorder, and your sound devices will be preloaded with all your track names, configuration, everything.
Wow, great time saver.
So that's pretty good.
So now we've sorted all our cameras out and all our sync. We've sorted out all our sound and tracks and metadata, and now we need to sync it all up.
That's right, post-production.
We'll have a look at that. I'll race you there. Sweep them out of the way. Out of the way. Okay, I beat you. And I went the long way round. So now we've got to post-production. You've done your shoot with loads and loads of GoPros or whatever it might be. And what happens now?
Yep, so we've got Jonah here, basically, who's our post-production wizard and audio mixer as well. Basically, what we've set up here as a demo is just how easy it is to synchronize what traditionally would have been a real pain to edit with. So we're in a professional environment, so actually we're working in Premiere at the moment, but it would work in Avid or Final Cut Pro, just to demonstrate the embedded timecode within the GoPro file. So a couple of months ago we did a shoot in the States, and it was an 8 camera GoPro shoot with a Canon C300 and a sound device of 633 for the audio mixer. Jonah took all the media out of the camera cards from the GoPros, the C300 and the audio, dragged it in there, ingested it in, and then brought it in as separate clips. And just to prove how the embedded timecode is there within the file itself, you can then highlight all those clips and create a multicam clip source sequence. And this time you tell it to synchronize all the clips via timecode, because obviously it's now got embedded timecode on the MP4s. And then you then create a sequence from that multicam clip. And this will just show how easy it is. And then you can now display. We need to now display the multicam environment, so we can now see the multiple GoPros, the C300, and there's some audio in there as well, all with embedded timecode. So straight away, you see how quick it is to synchronize 8 GoPros and a Pro camera and Pro audio, when you think how long that would have taken in post before. So this is just to really highlight the benefits of multicam timecode sync for a camera like that, a Hero 4 silver or black GoPro.
I think
And
I need it.
yeah, and Jonah's just like, effectively he's doing like a live cut, because it's a multicam clip. He can switch between all the cameras and create a multicam edit, almost like doing a live cut. But it's really just to demonstrate the power of this solution. There's no other prosumer camera out there that has embedded timecode.
That's amazing. I think I probably need a cocktail now to take that all in. I know that you've changed stuff. You've opened another office now, haven't you?
Yeah, we have. Yeah, so we've got Timecode Systems Inc. based in California, Irvine in California, mainly for 2 reasons: to cope with the demand for distribution of our new products, because obviously the SyncBack Pro is a much higher quantity type of product. So for support, technical support, distribution, we've got the new office. And also just to offer more support for North American customers on the same time zone just make it easier and make it more accessible, really.
And I think you've changed some of the manufacturing, and that's had a knock-on effect with prices.
Yeah, I mean, we're really pleased. I mean, we've always been very, very cost-effective for the quality and the features that our products offer. But what's really exciting for us is that because obviously we're now mass manufacturing for the sink back, we're able to leverage that whole manufacturing relationship on our existing products, and the cost savings that we've had from that alone, we've just directly passed on to the customers. So we just decided to pass that cost saving on. So now, for instance, the TRX Plus is almost half the price that it was before, so that we can obviously offer much better value to people out there for buying our products.
It's amazing. Thank you so much for all your time.
Welcome.